Hi, and welcome back to Left on Red. So we had another hiatus, but that's okay. So in July, I was able to read two books, and the first book was Murder in the Library, and then the second one was Body in the Library. So we'll be going over that a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to go over the books for August, which I am a little bit behind, so we're starting today, and we're only going to do 3 books, I think, for this month. But the first one that I'm going to read is Sandra Brown's Tailspin.
Rye Mallet, a fearless freight dog pilot charged with flying cargo to far-flung locations, is often rough-spoken in all business, but soft on regulations when they get in the way of meeting a deadline. But he does have a rock-solid reputation. He will fly in the foulest weather, day or night, and deliver the goods safely to their destination. So when Rye is asked to fly into a completely fog-bound northern Georgia town and deliver a mysterious black box to a Dr. Lambert, he doesn't ask questions. As Rye's plane nears the isolated landing strip, more trouble than inclement weather awaits him. He is greeted first by a sabotage attempt on his plane that causes him to crash land, and then by Dr. Brent O'Neill, who claims she was sent for the box in Dr. Lambert's stead, despite Rye's non-involvement policy when it comes to other people's problems. He finds himself irresistibly drawn to the intrigue surrounding his cargo, and to the mysterious and alluring Bren. Soon, Rye and Bren are in a treacherous 48-hour race to deliver the box before time runs out. With everyone from law enforcement officials to hired thugs hot on their heels, they must learn to trust each other so they can protect their valuable cargo from those who would kill for it.
And then we're going back to our mystery with Agatha Christie's A Caribbean Mystery.
In A Caribbean Mystery, Major Palgrave interrupts his boring stories to tell Miss Marple about a murderer he has known. Then he pulls out a snapshot of that murderer. A killing follows, and the mystery is airborne.
And finally, for the last week in August, we are going to be reading Death on the Lanai by Rachel Ekstrom Courage, and it is a Golden Girls cozy mystery.
The peculiar invitation delivered to 6151 Richmond Street is short on details, promising only to celebrate the greatest artist of the century and encouraging its recipients to dress to kill. After reassuring Rose that it's just a saying, the girls ditch another Friday night of gin rummy and get glammed up for a soiree at a historic villa. Dorothy hopes that she might find an elegant dance partner or perhaps a new love interest, and Sophie is thrilled to be putting on the glitz for something other than a funeral. Blanche Devereaux's romantic dalliances are as plentiful as hot southern nights, and surely she can't be expected to remember all of her past suitors. But as the party ferry disembarks at a small Biscayne Bay island and their secretive host makes himself known, the memories come flooding back. She, a Radio City rockette in her 20s. He, the poor artist who could offer nothing but his love. Fate drove them apart, but fame has enabled him to find her once again. What prompted him to seek her out? And why has he assembled all the major figures in his life and at this scheduled island? Before anyone can sleuth out answers to these questions, a tropical storm kills the power on the island, and then their mysterious host shows up dead. There's nothing like murder to ruin a good party, especially when there's no way off the island and everyone in attendance is a suspect, including the girls.
So, if you've read Murder by Cheesecake, or if you haven't read that yet, highly recommend going to read it. We haven't read it yet for our online book club, but I read it before I started this, and it's really good. So, go check it out. So, if you haven't read Agatha Christie's Body in the Library, then highly encourage you to pause this video, go read it if you plan on reading it, and then come back later and let me know your thoughts down below. So go do that because there are going to be spoilers ahead. So reading Body in the Library after Murder in the Library, of course there were going to be some kind of similarities. I just thought it was funny how in the Murder in the Library there was Julia Bird, who was like 60 something, and she had just moved to a small village, where in Body in the Library there is Miss Marple, who has been living in the village forever, and she knows everything, and that's why she's able to solve these mysteries. I am kind of sad that I didn't start with the first Miss Marple in the series, but you don't have to do that. You can just pick it up. It's one of those books that you can just pick up and get to know Miss Marple as you're reading it. So that was a lot of fun. Anyways, here are the questions for this book. Question number 1, did you enjoy the book? Yes, I enjoyed the book. I love a really good murder mysteries, and I love Agatha Christie. I have a ton of her books, but I haven't read a lot of them, I'm excited to read them all. But no, I really did enjoy this book. Question number 2, who was your favorite character? My favorite character was Miss Bantry, She, I don't know, she was just very funny and brutally honest, and when she wanted to do something, she would do it. She wouldn't wait around for somebody else. She would pick up the phone. She called Miss Marple to get over there that morning when the body was discovered in the library, and she was just like, you need to solve what happened because I need to know what happened. And she was with Miss Marple the whole way through. I don't know, and she was just really nosy, and she was like, well, did you figure it out? Have you figured it out yet? What's happened? And then she was concerned for her husband because people are already getting rumors around that he's the one who did it when he didn't. And she was just really concerned for him. So I don't know, I just found that she was a very enjoyable character for this book. Question number 3, what were your theories? So with Agatha Christie, she kind of sets up multiple theories that could be a possibility. And I think the other reason it took me so long to read this book is because I was trying to figure it out before the actual end of the book when Miss Marple like detailed everything and how she figured it out and how she knew. But I love that there were little key details that I missed. I completely missed. It went over my head because it could have been Edwards. He was working for Conway Jefferson. And so when you're finding out that all these other people are getting this money and yet you've worked for someone this long and you're not really getting anything, that would kind of tick me off. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's Miss Jefferson and she had fallen in love and she wanted all of that to herself. But then I was like, she's not really that kind of person. But then Mark, on the other hand, had really bad gambling problems. But what I didn't figure out was that him and Josie were in it on it together. I thought it was Miss Jefferson and Mark. What was it? Adelaide. We'll go to the very end because that's where they were like, yeah, Adelaide. I thought it was Adelaide and Mark conspiring together. Either they had gotten together, which was really weird, or they were conspiring to take out Jefferson and then everybody else just kept getting in the way. Another one was Josie and Raymond. Somehow they were going to try and take out Jefferson to take us. I don't know how that would have worked because they really had no connection to him. But still, that was another theory going inside my head. What I didn't realize was Mark and Josie had gotten married, and Miss Marple figured it out because Basil Blake, whatever that guy's name was, he had secretly gotten married, and that kind of like pushed everything together for Miss Marple and said, oh, not to mention what was her name? Ruby Keene. She apparently, the body that was found in the library had chewed on nails, and Ruby Keene didn't do that because she had accidentally ripped a fingernail from Josie's, coat, something like that, and Peter, Adelaide's son, was the one who found it. And then that Miss Marple was like, okay, so the body in the library wasn't Ruby Keene, but it was somebody else. So I don't know, this book, I had a ton of different theories, but it wasn't, Mark was a little bit suspicious, but I never thought of that it was Josie and Mark together. So what were your theories? Let me know. Number 4, did you solve it by the end? And no, I did not. I feel like I had like parts of the puzzle figured out, but I didn't have the whole entire thing. So again, did you have it solved before the very end? Be honest. Question number 5. Do you think Mr. Jefferson would have approved of the marriages of Adelaide and Hugo and Mark and Josie if Mark and Josie had been forthcoming about it from the beginning? Or do you think he would have had some more reserves because Mark was married to Rosamond, his daughter? And I was thinking about this, but Mark, being the type of man he was, of course he wasn't going to come out forthright and say, hey, I loved your daughter so much, but I'm ready to move on with my life, because he was a man who was in gambling debts, he was deceitful, all of these things. But if Adelaide had come forward sooner, do you think that would have given Mark the confirmation that he needed? Because they were after the money. Mark was after the money. Which I think it was really sweet at the end when Adelaide went forward with Hugo and said, hey, we're going to get married. And then Mr. Jefferson was like, yep, and tomorrow I'm changing the will. But she already knew he was changing it tomorrow. But he went on to say, I'm changing the will to give Peter most of mine. I'll give you 10,000, but I'll give him the rest. Which, it was like his step-grandson kind of thing. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, would if Josie and Mark had come forward and said, hey, we're wanting to get married. And Mark was like, I loved your daughter. She was amazing. But it's been so many years and I'm ready to move on. Would he have been as acceptable as accepting to it as he was with Adelaide and Hugo. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. So that was Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts of the book was, your answer to the questions, if you have any more questions about it, and any other comments that you would like to say. Just a quick reminder, we are reading Tailspin by Sandra Brown. I'm starting this today, so I hope you join in with me. Followed by A Caribbean Mystery by Agatha Christie. And then for the last week in August, Death on the Lanai by Rachel Ekstrom Courage. So I'm really excited about this one. Anyways, if you have anything else to tell me, let me know down below. Also, if you're not reading any of those books with me, what are you currently reading? If you're currently reading anything. And if you're not, maybe you should go read something, because reading is fun. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all the things. And until next time, I'll see you then. Happy reading! Okay, bye!